Today I'd like to talk about something called the frontal effect of the nose. Actually, the term frontal effect of the nose isn't something that's been around for a long time. It's a term that has emerged recently, and these days there are quite a few people who want changes in the appearance of their nose from the front rather than the side. So I'd like to talk a bit about what exactly we mean by the frontal effect and what kinds of changes fall under that. From the front, people usually prefer a nose that looks smaller and more refined. If the nose looks big and wide from the front, I don't think there are many people who would like that. So what needs to be done for a nose to look pretty from the front? To explain this, when you look at the nose from the front, you can divide it into the bridge, the nostrils, and the tip. So if the bridge of the nose is too wide, the wider it is compared to its actual height, the more it looks spread out and lower. Therefore, you need to make sure the bridge doesn't look too wide. The way to do that is by performing an osteotomy on the nasal bridge. There are actually several ways to perform an osteotomy. There are various types, like lateral and medial osteotomies, but for today, I'll just refer to all of them collectively as osteotomy. For example, if the nasal bone is wide when viewed from above, the osteotomy brings the wide bridge together like this. Then, when viewed from the front, the nose appears higher and more refined. This is what we call an osteotomy that creates a frontal effect on the nasal bridge. Next, there are cases where the tip of the nose is thick and large. This is commonly referred to as a bulbous nose. Correcting a bulbous nose is also one way to create a frontal effect. I've mentioned correcting a bulbous nose before, but in any case there are several methods. One is to remove some of the tissue here. Second, there is cartilage here at the tip of the nose. So the third method, often called cartilage tying, is to raise the height of the nasal tip. As the tip of the nose is raised, the shape becomes more refined and defined. There may be other methods, but broadly speaking, these are the three main ones. By using these three methods, you can make the tip of the nose look slimmer from the front. This is also one way to create a frontal effect for the nose. Lastly, the third part is the nostrils. Of course, it's good to correct wide nostrils. I'm sure you're already well aware of this. In fact, there are actually many different methods for nostril reduction as well. There are various methods, such as cutting the skin from the inside, cutting from the outside, or gathering it with a thread non-incisionally from the inside. Whichever method is used, if you narrow the width of the nostrils, of course, the nostrils won't look flared from the front and will appear more refined. If you feel that your nose looks too big from the front or doesn't appear refined, it's good to think about which specific part might be the issue for you. Check whether your nasal bridge is wide, if the tip of your nose is too large or bulbous, or if your nostrils are too flared. After considering these aspects, think in advance, since my nose is like this type of surgery might be good for me. If you have these thoughts before your consultation, it will be much more helpful when you actually receive the consultation. Of course, what you think and what the doctor thinks may be a bit different. So as you communicate and talk about these things, you'll likely come to a good conclusion. Today, I talked about the effects from the front view like this. If you have any questions, please leave a comment, and I will do my best to answer them.